Hello again, everybody. Fro, aka Fro Fighter 619, aka Fro Fighter, whatever you might know me by. Mostly, if anybody's known me before, YouTube, it was probably as a commentator of fighting games, analyst, what have you. But I like a lot of other stuff that isn't fighting games, and that's part of why I've established this, just to kind of like play games that I enjoy and talk with them, talk with people about them. Wow, excellent start that we have going here. But yeah, so what I'm starting with today, a new playthrough after I finish Scott Pilgrim EX, which is X-Men Legends. This is the first game in what I like to call the Legendary Alliance series, which includes this game, its sequel, X-Men Legends 2, and then the three Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. Yes, there are three. I know the third is Switch exclusive, and it got a bit weird, but I still like that game just fine. So, this is a dungeon crawling, a more Western style RPG game starring the X Men, of course. I'll talk more about things as we go along, but let's go ahead and get this story started.
RBN World News, we examine the growing mutant menace. It's a concern of worldwide proportions.
As always, X Men
This scene
persecuted.
took place in Russia 2 weeks ago as a young mutant stood in defiance of the military. And in the Far East, the authorities
I've never thought
attempted
about
to
which
quell an
mutant that
uprising
might
at a
be
mutant
that
camp,
stops the tank there.
but they had little success.
We interrupt this newscast with a breaking story. A young woman named Allison Cressmere was identified as a mutant. The Genetic Research and Security Organization is now responding to that report, but a mob has formed and tempers are flaring.
Help! Somebody help me! Mom!
Hello, Allison.
I'm not a mutant. I swear I'm not. Grab the girl and get out of here.
Mystique and the Blob. Yeah, this is some rough PS2 era graphic work for the cutscenes here.
Stop fighting! Stop it right now!
Lit him up. We'll talk more about Allison later. She's a character who we're going to be seeing a fair amount of. She might seem like she's just an NPC appearing for this little early scene with the Blob taking her away, but yeah, we're going to be seeing a fair bit of Allison as we go through this game. Oh man, he called him the M word. Okay, let's go ahead and get this section started in good old New York City. So I'll talk about how the game works kind of as we go along. So as you can see, we start with just one character here, which is Wolverine. But the way this game works is eventually you'll be able to fill out a team of 4 characters. So let's go ahead and start fighting these troops here. And I'll be analyzing each character and talking about their strengths and weaknesses. Oh, already getting item drops. Okay, so I was planning to leave talking about Wolverine for when we get a level up, but since we got an item, and I'm probably going to go ahead and equip it since it's going to help us out a bit. All right, so the way this game works is your characters have 4 stats, most of which are useless. That's just the honest truth. You have Strike, which helps your basic melee attacks, and supposedly, the role of this is to be able to land your melee attacks and have a higher chance of them not being dodged. But there is a workaround to this with certain characters that have bonus damage, and I'll explain more about that when we get to it. Agility, which allows you to dodge melee attacks. Worst stat by far to put points into. Just never bother with this. Body gives you health. Basically how you survive. And the big one, focus. Your mutant powers or your special moves are basically your core source of damage in this game. And focus is what allows you to use those as much as humanly possible. And pretty much for almost every character, putting your points into focus, your optional points into focus is the way to go. Now, we also have your mutant powers here. So these are the ones that Wolverine has. Every character has 3 different powers they can get. One is typically their basic, most direct attack. One is a secondary power they have, or kind of an alternative. And the third is always some kind of buff state that they can go into for a few seconds, and that gets stronger as you level it up. Then there's a fourth power with only one level, which is your extreme. Usually like one big screen clearing attack, though they're mostly not that great. Then the rest of these are passives. And, you know, for some characters, their passives are essentially the core of how they work and what their quality and how their quality is produced, really. So for Wolverine, his main power that he uses is Brutal Slash, big move, does a lot of damage. He's, like, as you can see from his stat spread, he's focused on body and agility, and one of these is going to matter a lot less very soon as we go along. Brutal Slash is his basic attack, does some pretty big damage, pretty useful, likely to be the one we focus on if Wolverine stays on the team. Claw Flurry is like a decent alternative. It's basically the same, just split over 2 hits, because that damage displayed there is per hit. Brutal Slash is just a single attack for that amount of damage. Feral Rage is like a nice little speed boost that he gets. The other good thing he has Healing Factor, which is unique to him, and that helps him survive for much longer. He also has Sharpness, which is his workaround for melee damage. So you see that first level where it says 4 or 5 physical damage to his claw attacks. That damage bypasses enemy dodging. So I could be punching an enemy and they're dodging my basic melee attacks, but they'll be taking damage from this bonus damage. Later characters we get will have bigger boosts on other damage types, and I'll get to them when we see them. But this is just something to keep in mind. All right, let's not sit around and talk about this too much and just keep going here. All right. Yeah, so that was Brutal Slash right there. It's strong enough to almost knock out any of these early enemies. There are also like little melee combinations, like that's XX Circle is a pop-up attack like I just did right there. This is a tripping attack. Wow, yeah, this game can be pretty unforgiving. You saw already just from those couple hits I took how much damage I lost, how much health I lost just there. I tried to get away from that, but anyway, yeah, so you saw that girl earlier, Allison Crestmere. Right now we are trying as Wolverine to catch up to the Brotherhood and save her.
Sweet dreams, sucker.
Yeah, Wolverine. All right, there are the Blob's footsteps. Wow, I'm taking a lot more hits than I tend to when I play this first section. I gotta be more careful here. Okay, so that gets our first section over with. Not the most flattering angle of Wolverine over there. Some of this art is a product of its time. Really, the look of the game outside of gameplay is definitely, I think, what aged the worst. In game, the little cel-shaded look that they created was, I think, a pretty smart move and a way around the graphical limitations with how much info this game wants to process. Yeah, there's Avalanche blocking our path, which we would have wanted to follow since the blob clearly went that way. Let's break some of these. Yeah, there we go. We wanted to find one of these health potions. I do have to manually use those.
Let's see what you got.
All right. Good start. We should be able to level up on beating this guy. There we go.
Now I'm really ready.
So this will give me a chance to explain how level ups work, but let's take care of this guy first. Got him. All right, so every time we level up, we are able to do 2 things. We're able to put points into our stats. So there are going to be points added by default. You might remember the body stat was 5 earlier, and it got increased to 6 just now automatically, since that's one of Wolverine's core stats. So his automatic level up stats will tend towards that. Now, the other point I mentioned earlier, focus is the core stat, so that's where we'll put our point. Now, we also have a point to put into mutant abilities, and I mentioned the healing factor earlier. That's the first one we're going to give Wolverine, and I'm going to go ahead and just let that happen right now. You can see it. You can see that health recovering. That is unique to Wolverine. Only he gets this. You can also see the blue bar, the focus bar. That's what allows you to use mutant powers. And that recovers automatically too. And the reason you want to increase focus is because it gives you more energy, which means you get to use your powers more. But more importantly, it means that this focus bar refills faster. All right, we're on the other side now, and we're going to keep chasing Blob through here. Many enemies here. Experience points. There you go. Hey, sit down there for a minute while I take care of the other guy. There we go. Going a bit smoother. No potions in there. And into Central Park we go. Yeah, there's Mystique. We'll be seeing her probably soon. Usually when they put up this loading screen of an enemy character, it means that you're about to fight them as a boss.
Hey, Wolverine. What are you waiting for? Come on.
Ow.
What's going on here? You're finished, Mystique. Give up.
Fool. You think I came here alone?
Yeah, the most deceptive character in pretty much all of Marvel. Yeah, there she is. If you don't know Mystique somehow, this is what she's known for. Her shape-shifting powers that she uses to help her, you know, trick enemies. And she's also a really skilled fighter. She's been alive a long time as far as I'm aware. I don't remember the full history here, but yeah. But yeah, we're starting to fight Brotherhood thugs now, so we're not just fighting the the Gurso soldiers like we were earlier. Alright. You're seeing the Brutal Slash doing some pretty big damage here, but I'm hoping to get a second level up soon so we can put an extra point into that, and that way the damage from it is going to be even higher. Alright. Yeah, there are no... This first mission doesn't really have any big pickups. Oh, hey, Pyro.
Ha! You're one of the mighty X-Men?
Oh, I just realized I didn't turn on the lights in the room. Hold up. And there we go. Man, I might be... I was just busy watching...
What are we waiting for? Let's go.
Yeah, all right, Wolverine, give it a rest. But I was busy watching Egypt versus Argentina, and being half Egyptian, I'm kind of gutted at that loss after Egypt were 2-0 up. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm fading quick.
Yeah, I gotta be careful here.
Guess
Yeah,
you didn't
this
want
game's,
this, man.
like I mentioned earlier, this game is pretty unforgiving. Okay, body enhancer. I forget exactly which slot that will go into. Okay, an extra point in body is good to have. Minor health buff. I'm gonna trip this guy up. I was trying to attack the other one. This game can be a bit jank sometimes, and as we'll find out also, mechanically, it's not the best balanced thing to ever be made. It is, its characters can exploit the system in some pretty funny ways. Wolverine won't be the best showcase of this. He's a very straightforward character. But yeah, we'll see more of that as we go on. Maybe, depending on which characters I end up using. Yeah, here's our path here. I do plan on streaming the sequel as well, whenever I'm done with this first playthrough here. Got him.
I'm the best at what I do.
Yeah. Wolverine's voice acting in this game was fine, I guess. It got hammier in the sequel. Yeah, I had an old file that I was using for testing purposes here. But all right, yeah, those are save points. And later on, when we have, when we start having full teams, that's going to be how we switch them out and also revive knocked out team members. So it looks like I won't be getting a level up before Mystique. Okay, yeah, I'm not. So we're gonna head into this area. You see Mystique waiting for us. She be laughing. Yeah, that little slap she does is probably the most dangerous thing she has, because it kind of chips away at my health much faster than anything else she does. Wow, she's giving me the runaround right now. Chance for a brutal slash there. Okay, I might be able to nick a level up off of these guys. There we go. This is what we wanted, because now, well, yeah, if I could get my buttons right. Did I accidentally remove it? Yeah, I guess I did. Wait. 110 out of 100. I've been telling you guys, when it comes to this game, it can be a bit suspect. Do we add to body or focus? Like Wolverine, because he fights up close, putting a point into body here and there is not the worst idea. And with the survival struggles we look like we're having a bit early on, it might be a good idea to put this point into body. All right, so yeah. This is what I wanted, because now Brutal Slash is doing twice as much damage. Yeah, see, we were not killing enemies with that earlier. Ah, that misses bad. Okay, yeah, we're
You are destined to lose, X-Men.
gotta be careful here.
You're lucky.
Using my potions to make sure I have Brutal Slash on deck. Almost done. She just stopped slapping. There we go.
Wolverine, someday, some way, I'll see you die.
She is a pretty vindictive character.
Done, darling. And I ain't even broken a sweat.
Yeah, I don't know how well you guys heard that, but like it feels like some of the voice samples were recorded in different surroundings.
Where's Blob taking the kid?
She's ours now, Wolverine. You'll never see her again.
We'll get her back, Mystique. Even if we have to cut down each and every one of you Brotherhood psychos.
What's so special about her?
Yeah, hear how that sounds different.
Mere child has her uses.
You always got some plan brewing, don't you, Mystique?
It's time to save Allison.
You'll never catch Blob.
That's some pretty high confidence you got going there. All right, can we... Okay, yeah, this is a good chance for us to just let the healing factor go to work. Well, it is a touch on the slow side. Oh yeah, I forgot, it keeps going even when you're moving. Yeah, Blob, our next Brotherhood member to fight. So yeah, the game does spoil boss fights. Like, once you enter an area, you see this, that means you're going to meet that character as a boss. Healing factor stopped working, but
Hey, Wolverine.
here we are. Our second character just joins, and it is Cyclops. Now, if you're on this channel, you've seen the profile pic I've chosen to put. You're well aware by now that this is a character that is very, very important to me. Cyclops is my favorite Marvel character. He is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. And for this playthrough, it's very likely that I'll be controlling him most of the time we're playing. Let's go ahead and have a look at him and just kind of see what we have working here. So I mentioned earlier, characters will have different focus stats or different core stats. With Cyclops, as a character that focuses on using a lot of mutant powers, well, every character does this, but as a character who is designed to focus on using a lot of mutant powers. Focus is his highest stat, and pretty much every single point we get for stats is going to be put into Cyclops' focus. Optic Beam is his main power. Its damage, as you'll notice, is fairly low right now, so significantly lower than Wolverine's Brutal Slash. But the thing that separates Optic Beam is that it's the longest range power you can use without any handicap to its damage. Its damage is consistent across the whole thing, unlike spread shot powers, which we'll see later. And this is going to be basically what Cyclops is going to do all the way throughout the game. Optic Sweep kind of sucks. Its damage is low. It does knockback, which means you knock enemies further away. And really, the way you want to do things in this game is to knock out enemies as fast as humanly possible. Tactics also kind of sucks. It increases striking and agility, which are two stats that are pretty worthless to Cyclops, except in one scenario that I'll discuss when the time comes. Optic Rage is his extreme. Not really much to it. He's better off just firing off optic beams as much as he can. For the passives, Toughness and Mutant Mastery are common for every single character to increase your max health and your max energy. Very straightforward. Now, there are some passives for Cyclops here that increase the damage from his optic blasts. Point blank shot, if you do your blast close enough, it does a bit of extra damage. Accuracy for critical hits, but the reason that Cyclops is one of the best characters in the game is right here. In addition to Optic Beam being really good, there's something called power combos. When you do a combo with like two powers that hit one after the other, you'll get a notification from the game, and it does a tiny bit of a damage boost. It's pretty useful, but with Cyclops' leadership passive, this damage skyrockets, and you can pretty much get like quadruple or quintuple damage just off of having this equipped at higher levels. And he's not the only character that has this. We'll see another character that has the same passive, but it is a huge thing that Cyclops has, and it's so huge for him in terms of making sure that he is supporting the team. So Cyclops does two key things. He blasts enemies from afar, and he boosts everyone else's damage through these combos. So let's go ahead and continue here. We've saved our game. Now, since our beams are still kind of weak, and still enemies aren't that capable of dodging attacks yet, so we might have to scrap a bit up close. Shoryuken! Yeah, clear inspiration here. There's our first level up for Scotty. Alright. Nice and easy, so... Thing is, I can only level up Optic Beam at level 3. So for the time being, I guess accuracy is the only thing worth putting a point into. Because holding on to the point won't really do much for now. And yeah, like I said earlier, focus, focus, focus. We are going to keep pumping that stat as much as we can. Yeah, the camera could get stuck a bit. Yeah, Cyclops might not look very impressive now, and I'll admit his start is pretty weak. But yeah, that's a little thing. You might have noticed, like there's a little lock-on reticle that appears on enemies when they're close enough. But Cyclops' range on his Optic Beam allows him to like chip away at enemies before they're even in lock-on range. And that's something that can be pretty handy. There are certain scenarios later with little enemy traps that you want to blast from afar. And the Cyclops is by far the best character at getting rid of them without getting into range of those traps. Oh, she just like slapped him in the belly.
Get this guy away from me.
Alright, Allison is free.
Hey, come back here!
Don't take another step closer, Blob.
Try and stop me, Cream Puff!
I always found it really funny how he says cream puff. Okay, so we're fighting Blob now. And the thing with Blob is that, as you can see up there, he's resistant to physical damage. So Wolverine does reduce damage to this guy. And this is... Now the problem with what we're dealing with right now is that Cyclops' optic beam damage is pretty low. So we're not able to really use the fact that Cyclops deals energy damage as well as we'd like to. Still, if we just keep blasting away, eventually he'll go down. Whoa!
All this fight is making me hungry.
He's a big boy, I guess, and he likes food. I can relate. Though not to that extent.
All this fight is making me hungry.
Yeah, we heard you last time, Blob. Oh, we've exhausted our energy again. Throw a trash can at him. Ugh, that counts as physical damage too.
How you failed me.
Tiny, frail things.
Combo.
Okay, we're whittling him down. Just bellied Wolverine away.
Okay.
Let's see. Because even with the physical resistance, we're basically doing as much damage as Cyclops' beams. So we'll just give Cyclops a chance to recover. Okay, go back to Cyclops. Recovered enough for a couple of beams here. He's almost down. The good thing is he doesn't do too much damage back to us. A lot of the basic enemies we fought were actually probably more dangerous than Blob, to be honest. Okay, just one more energy potion and one more blast. There we go.
Guys,
Sorry about that.
now get Allison to the X-Jet. I'll meet you there.
Jean Grey,
Got it.
Jean and Storm. We'll talk about more about those characters a little later on, but yeah, now it's time for us to just kind of get out of here. Now that we've beaten the Blob. Oh yeah, those yellow things are tech bits. They're basically this game's currency. We can use them to buy different kinds of items. But yeah, we'll start going to the rooftops now to start finishing out the level. Yeah, when you're not fighting a boss, if you don't have a boss coming up, you'll see a loading screen with any of the X-Men that you've unlocked up to this point. Usually ones that are on your team, at least later on in the game. Yeah, just save here real quick. You can just get blindsided by enemies really quickly here. Oh, I completely forgot to activate the map. Because I definitely want to be able to see where I'm going. I kind of went through the first section off of memory, but later on that won't work out as well. Okay, good stuff. I want to try to find as many enemies as I can, try to get to get Cyclops up to level 3. Yeah, new type of enemy, Brotherhood Insurgent, but really, these kinds of enemies don't distinguish themselves very much. Comic books, yeah, there are going to be little collectible comic books and other such things, sketchbooks for concept art, and another type of collectible that I'll talk more about when we see. Yeah, that was a critical hit. If the number flashes green, that's a critical hit. By the way, enemies and characters talk a lot. There we go, level ups for both of our characters.
Ain't no one standing in my way.
I love the little quips they give when they level up. Helps you kind of get pumped up. All right, so focus again and power up to optic beam. As for Wolverine, Wolverine needs another level to level up Brutal Slash. We'll give him a point in focus and yeah, first point to sharpness. That'll give him like a little, that adds up. Like the 4 to 5 damage on every single hit will add up and help Wolverine kind of take down enemies faster that way. Alright, keep it nice and simple. Yeah, at least while Cyclops punches can still land early on, it's probably better just to scrap. What does it say? Marvel. Oh, okay. This is the first time I've actually looked at that sign.
You ain't getting up.
Trip him up. We can hit him with a downed attack. So the game has some combat mechanics, but really, as you go on, using your powers is the way to play the game, and that's what we're going to see. Yeah, Wolverine just brutal slashed him. Like you saw, that guy had over half of his health left, but brutal slash is just doing that much damage right now. Right, on to the next area. Yeah, like I said, some of this art is pretty out there. Cyclops with the massively oversized pecs. Or is it the undersized torso? Yeah, either way. Something went a bit awry there. There's a charm to all this, like this kind of more old school jank, and I am aware of my age in calling something from post-millennium old school. Because that's not what I used to think once upon a time, but I mean, this game is like over 20 years old now. Okay, and just a health potion over there that I don't need. Gotta be careful jumping around, because the game has a propensity for being a bit unwieldy. Ooh, targeting implant. That should help our ranged critical attacks, which is obviously something Cyclops wants. Yeah, these games are pretty special to me, really. Like, this whole series, Ultimate Alliance, I've been replaying the series recently and just remembering how much fun I have with these games. I haven't replayed Legends 2 in a while, so whenever I get to that after finishing this, that'll be fun to kind of start revisiting. Ooh, okay. I mentioned another type of collectible, and there it is up there. Danger Room disc. These are these optional missions you can take on. They give you some experience, they give you some items.
You are destined to lose.
And there are some character-specific ones that if you beat, you get a nice character-specific piece of equipment that usually boosts something critical to that character, their power damage or something of the sort. Now, I don't remember where all of these are, so I might miss a few. Basic strike enhancer. Free cash, because I am selling that first chance I get. Oh, enemy. Experience points. Don't want to let those go. Especially early on, getting levels and making sure that your characters are in tip-top shape is really important, because I actually think the early game is one of the more brutal sections of the game because you can die so quickly. And because you have so few tech bits for character revivals. Alright, keep blasting them. Protect me, Allison. Allison over here is thinking, wow, did I ever join these guys? Okay, I think we're almost at the end. We're almost at the helipad. Oh, he's got beams too. Yeah, see, Allison's in a fighting stance there, but even though she can't really do anything. Indeed, Scott. There's the X-Jet. And there's our first mission. Yeah, I think this game does a good job of introducing itself.
Why is all this happening to me?
Allison, it's okay.
Things were fine until last week. I got mad at my little brother and suddenly the ground started to shake. I knew it was my fault, but I didn't want to admit it.
Your powers are becoming active, which...
Things have only gotten worse. That lava in the street? I made it happen. I'm becoming a mutant.
There's nothing wrong with...
And that woman? She was gonna make me join something called the Brotherhood.
Understandable
She
freak
could
out.
come after me again.
For now.
Anytime.
Allison, you couldn't be in safer hands. We're the X-Men.
And that's it. Now we know you're safe. All right, here we are, the Xavier Institute, or, you know, I'm probably just going to say X-Mansion because that's kind of the shorthand that I'm used to with this place. But now I'm kind of, yeah, there's good old Charles Xavier, and you might recognize his voice when we see him, when we start hearing him speak. Here it is.
Professor Xavier,
I'd like you to meet Allison Crestmere.
Hello, Allison. Welcome to the Institute. How are you?
That is
I'm a
Patrick
little
Stewart.
confused, but I'm okay.
That is Patrick Stewart voicing Charles
understandable.
Xavier.
Perhaps Jean could take you on a tour of the mansion. Or would you prefer that I show you the true purpose of the Institute in the sub-basement?
So you get options for your choices here. Taking the sub-basement tour skips getting some info on the characters. But since we're doing this for the stream, I'll go ahead and do that. But first, let's ask Professor Xavier some questions.
Why was I brought here?
You were brought here for your own protection. The people who attacked you in New York City were members of the Brotherhood of Mutants. They can be extremely dangerous.
So they could come after me again?
Perhaps. Which is why it would be best for you to stay at the mansion. At least until we determine exactly why the Brotherhood attempted to kidnap you.
Are you the leader of the X-Men?
I-
But you brought them
Yeah,
together.
the voice clips wig out sometimes here and
Yes.
there.
I started with Cyclops and several others. As time passed, I found more mutants who were capable of handling the responsibilities of being an X-Man.
I used to think when I played this back in the day that there was something wrong with my disc or something that would cause the voice clips to just skip out that way. But it turns out it's just an issue with the game itself.
Who's the brother?
The Brotherhood is an unruly collection of mutants who consider themselves above humanity.
But what do they want?
They've labeled themselves Homo Superior and believe they will inherit the Earth. But they are far from meek.
I'd like Jean to show me around.
It would be my pleasure.
Once you're done with Jean's tour, come back here and I'll show you the sub-basement.
Lead the way, Allison.
All right, so we just let the characters finish up. So it's supposedly Jean giving us a tour, but really it's more that we walk around
Welcome to the Xavier
and
Institute,
Jean will
Allison.
explain things for us.
This place is huge. What is it?
This is the Xavier Institute, a school where mutants learn to control their abilities, as well as discovering more about themselves and their place in the world.
A school for mutants?
The fact that the students are mutants is kept secret for everyone's protection. In addition to being a school, the mansion is also home to the X-Men.
Cool. I've heard of the X-Men. What room is this?
The library is one of the most popular rooms in the house. There's a wide variety of literature here, from Shakespeare to comic books.
Thanks for...
All right, we know who Jean Grey is, psychic. Probably the most powerful of the X-Men if you just take her power
This is the sitting room.
at face
Great
value.
place to kick back and relax. Needless to say, this room doesn't get a lot of use by the X-Men.
All right, you notice that we actually have a health bar and focus bar because Allison, our point of view character in these X-Mansion sections, is actually a playable character. I'll put this on her, I guess, just so it doesn't clog up inventory. But since she just joined and she's still figuring things out, she won't be playable on field missions early on. She's going to be here like our point of view character just for these segments for a bit. And the cool thing about that is that essentially through her, we experience what joining the X-Men feels like as a newbie and somebody who's kind of just getting used to all of this. Now, Allison, her stats first appear as being focus-oriented, but her true calling is as a bulky brawler. And that's because her powers are a bit suspect. Like this is her basic power attack that is basically like a spread shot power. I mentioned earlier how Cyclops keeps his damage regardless of distance. For these powers, you want to hit up close for all of the damage to matter. Otherwise, the damage spreads out and it becomes pretty weak. The lava fissure is like a little pillar of fire that comes up from underneath. It's all right, but a bit slow. But this is the main thing Allison cares about. When she goes into fiery form, she gains might, which means ability to lift heavier objects as well as higher damage. And she also takes less damage. So that allows her to kind of just fight on the front lines. But the other thing that matters is Burning Rage. So when you buff this, Allison will start doing energy damage with her attacks. And as I mentioned with Wolverine, the damage that gets added through these passives just completely ignores all enemy ability to dodge. So Allison will be able to just get up close, activate Fiery Form, survive for a while, and just throw punches, or well, they'll then turn into like energy, like short range energy attacks. But anyway, that's kind of the point of how she works. She's not what she initially seems. All right, so we'll continue going around here with Jean. You know what? Like, we're gonna go around the mansion on our own later, so.
Did you?
I'm done.
If you're done with the tour, go back to...
We can just go to Xavier and just kind of get freedom to walk without Jean kind of telling us what's going on. Because what she's gonna do is like show us the different X-Men's bedrooms and kind of tell us a little bit about them. But we're gonna be meeting the characters on our own, and you know.
Hello, Allison.
Could you take me on the...
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'll go around the whole mansion just to kind of show it off. But for now, let's go to the part that, you know, the cool part of the mansion, the sub-basement with Professor Xavier.
This is the war room. From here, we keep a watchful eye on the world for any signs of trouble.
What's that holographic glow?
That is the mission control computer. With it, you can examine and activate any missions that are currently available to the X-Men.
I'll have to take a look at that later.
Very good.
Thanks.
Yes. We just want to kind of get let off the leash here, so we can go ahead and just take a look at what's available on our own. So there are a couple things I want to do here. I mentioned that gaining a bit of early experience is important, and I'm going to do some things geared around that. This is the war room, like Xavier just said. Basically, whenever I'm ready for the next level, I just tap here, and we just go, and we just immediately go there. But if you know your X-Men stuff, you probably know some of what we're going to see. Here's Cerebro. Pretty much as you might remember it from any of its appearances in any bits of popular X-Men media. This side has the Danger Room computer, so we can use that to do Danger Room sims. And another thing we want to do that's really important is to just find other X-Men. I mentioned that we have other playable characters. Now, Jean and Storm have already joined the team, but here's another character we also want to talk to.
I'm sorry, miss. My sincerest apologies if I frightened you.
Good old Beast.
Are you Hank McCoy?
Yes, indeed. Although my code name is Beast, for obvious reasons, I didn't always look like this.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone's heard of me. I'm the freak who can turn a mini-mall into mini Pompeii.
Allison, my dear, you are most certainly not a freak.
I forgot to check who voices Beast here, but he does a great job.
Since you're a scientist...
It would be my pleasure. You see, Mother Nature has a way of changing life forms.
That's evolution.
Very good, Allison. Correct. And recently, evolution has decided to endow various humans with an X gene, which is what gives us special abilities.
That's pretty much the gist of it.
I think it was exciting when I started.
That's kind of
making
how
models
X-Men
first
are
out of the
X-Men.
ground. I bet my friend Mandy will never talk.
You never know what the future may hold. In the
Thanks for...
My pleasure, Allison. Feel free to drop by any...
Yeah, Beast, obviously the great scientific mind of the team. But the reason I want to talk to the other team members here isn't necessarily about getting their backstories, although that part in and of itself is cool. But it's because that is what unlocks them as playable characters as we
Hello,
proceed.
Allison. Yeah. So you and Cyclops are an item, huh?
It was a lot.
But is
It just keeps
difficult
clipping
being
out that
someone
way.
when you're a telepath?
Oh, I would never read a person's mind unless I was given permission. But because of my powers, Scott and I have developed a permanent psychic bond.
Yeah, until you die.
A psychic bond.
Anywhere I go, I can always feel his presence, just as he can feel mine. I guess you could say we're soulmates.
I should be.
Anytime you feel the need for a little girl talk, just let me know.
Yeah, we'll talk about Jean as a fighter a bit later on. Here's the brig, just like a little jail cell over here. Let's go ahead and head back up to the dorms because we have another character waiting there. But yeah, that is what's cool about this, like I mentioned. You just kind of get the experience of exploring this place, of course within the limitations of what games were like at the time. There's also another thing we're going to do here. It might take a short little while to do, but it's important for experience points. These are all the different bedrooms. Okay, yeah, this is Cyclops' room. Has his car and weights for training. And obviously the picture of Jean, like the thing said. Is this, I want to say this is Jubilee's room. There she is.
Why, you must be Allison Cressmere. You're even prettier than Jean said you were.
Storm, you were on the plane, weren't you?
And you are?
My name is Aurora Monroe, but here at the X-Mansion, I'm usually referred to as Storm.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Kenya, Africa, but Professor Xavier asked me to join him here at the mansion.
I'll see you.
Yeah, backstory, Charles went to her in Africa and all that, and she was worshipped in her homeland due to her abilities. Yeah, here we go. This is the first source of experience points I wanted to use, which is the trivia game, which allows me to just kind of go over some old X-Men knowledge and kind of talk through it. Rogue had once been romantically involved with Magneto. They were actually an item once upon a time. The Grey Malkin Lane. I'm actually, I'm looking at all of these and I don't recognize any of these addresses. In the future games, they would put addresses of other known Marvel locales. But yeah, Xavier is on Grey Malkin Lane. The first X-Man was, of course, Cyclops, although Beast was one of the first 5, as was Angel. Banshee joined later. I don't believe Puck was ever an X-Man. But that might have happened later. A lot of characters have gone through the X-Men at some point. Who isn't a member of the Brotherhood? Basically, we saw 3 of these 4 in the first mission. Gateway is the only one that isn't one. The Machine, we saw it earlier, is Cerebro. Cyclops can't control because he ingested poison. No. It's the head trauma. Guy literally fell out of a plane and injured his head. Somehow didn't die. Gambit, he's known as the Prince of Thieves. Nightcrawler, the amazing Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner. Big fan of that character. Yeah, Jean, you guys, if you've watched some of the X-Men movies, or if you know your X-Men lore, you know about the Phoenix. Jean goes crazy, gets taken over by the Phoenix, usually dies soon after. Cyclops' brother is Havoc. Oh, I just completely zoned out there. This one I think surprises a lot of people because a lot of these characters, all these characters are tied to the X-Men very closely, but this one especially is one of the most popular characters. But Juggernaut is not a mutant. It's he gets his powers from a special ruby. It was Shingen, yeah. Wolverine's seen a lot of stuff in his time. Cyclops' father, Corsair, who was thought dead. And Bolivar Trask was the man who developed the Sentinels. This one I just remember from playing the game. I've never actually come across this story. I don't think there's too much left here. A helmet to break against psionic attacks is Juggernaut. Wolverine. Here. Code name for Kitty Pryde is... I wish this character had ever been playable in any of these games. she's only like appeared once in the sequel. Yeah. Mortimer Toynbee. Like, you look at these names. Okay, Wade Wilson. Cool little bit of stuff. James Hudson is a guy from Alpha Flight, Vindicator, or was it? I forgot the name of the character, but that's Toad. I don't remember who Clive Schneebly is, if that actually exists. Wade Wilson is obviously Deadpool, and Victor Creed is Sabretooth. Emma Frost can also, yeah. Moira's son Kevin McTaggart, also known as Proteus. Yeah, Jean Grey. This was during the Dark Phoenix saga, where she became a member of the Hellfire Club for a short while. This would be Colossus when he's in his steel form, since Rogue needs skin-to-skin contact in order to steal someone's power. Storm, character who loves the wind and the open air, claustrophobic. Who in this group is a mutant? Bobby Drake, also known as our friend Iceman. Oh, we have to find him too, I just remembered. Yeah, Magneto and Xavier are friends. Forge, Cheyenne. Again, another thing that I only know from this game. Oh man, this is one that okay, finally remembered. September 1963 was the first X-Men issue. Who is next in line to lead the X-Men? Storm, I mentioned earlier, we have a second leadership character. That will be her. Psylocke is from England. Jubilee, if you watched the first episode of X-Men, the 90s show, you know this. Although Cyclops is here, it says solar energy, although there's also the what people have affectionately called the punch dimension. He was known as, yeah, there we go. Morlocks. Gambit's powers, kinetic energy, Jubilee. There are a lot more of these than I remember. I remember these being much fewer than this, but yeah. But again, it's valuable early experience. It gives us like a couple of early level ups. Juggernaut, yeah, there's the thing we mentioned that he's not a mutant. In the early comics, people used to call Cyclops Slim more than Scott. And I think actually in the original comics, sometimes his name would just be written as Slim Summers without mention of Scott. Sabretooth and Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine was in the CIA. A lot of weird facts about the X-Men. Mystique, yeah, that's her name, Raven Darkholm. Though because she's lived through so many eras, she's been a lot of different people. Storm likes gardening. Wolverine, yeah, if you've answered the previous question, you should know this one. Colossus first turned into his metal form. Now, the continuation of this is he was stopping a runaway tractor running over his sister Illyana. And his sister is now the very popular character known as Magic, who you might know from her appearances in things like Marvel Rivals. First 5 X-Men, Cyclops, Iceman, Angel, Beast, and Jean Grey. Powers during teenage years, during puberty specifically. Rogue, there we go. All done. Oh, because Storm is in the area, so it counts as her leveling up. Now, the reason I did this, even though it looks like I've only leveled up Allison, is because this passive experience will go to the rest of the team. Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean, everyone is going to get something out of this. Let's see, toughness requires level 10, critical strike. I guess I'll hold on to this. One right there.
Hey, y'all. Aren't you the new girl? Wow, cool costume.
That's right, hun. My name's Rogue.
There's Rogue. Now,
And you're a mutant.
the thing with this is Rogue, or really for a lot of the characters,
It lets me absorb all kinds of things through skin
I'll
color.
let her finish up here
Other
first.
mutant powers, memories, even someone's life force if I'm not careful.
So, a lot of the characters' backstories are based on what people know in popular lore from the basic 616 Marvel Universe or, you know, the 90s show. But the characters' designs are based on the Ultimate Comics, which were one of the running Marvel lines at the
Just
time.
improved 100%. Gene said you were cute, but that was the understatement of the century.
I wonder if his character is a flirt. It's Iceman.
You must...
Hey, it's nice to see my name's gotten around.
No, but Jean Grey warned me to keep an eye on you.
Oh, well, don't believe everything Jean says. She still hasn't forgiven me for that little incident in the
You
chamber.
know,
Man, you enter one room without knocking and you're branded for life.
that's the kind of thing I don't think they would want to insert into a game today, or really in a dialogue today. But yeah, it is what it is. So there we go, Iceman. So that rounds out all the characters that we're going to have available. So now we can head back to the sub-basement. I'll take a look at what we have available in the danger room, because I want to say we don't have much going yet to make it worth doing a danger room session. But if there is, we're just going to try to go through it and earn some experience for Allison, and more importantly for the rest of the team before we get going on the first mission. Okay, there we go. We can visit the danger room from save points. We don't have to go all the way. Yeah, we've got a fair amount available here. And the way this kind of works is that you do these things and you get credits based on how well you do on each of them, and they unlock later available scenarios. But you also have to find discs to unlock some of these scenarios. So yeah, you see there Allison's name, or her code name, kind of being
You may now
spoiled.
begin your course.
All right.
30 seconds remain. Again.
Can you destroy crates?
Again.
Indeed you
Excellent
can.
You
Good
have
job,
completed
Magma.
all course objectives.
All right, so these aren't too bad to finish real quick here, so I'll just quickly run through them, then we'll start
You
the
may
first
now
mission.
begin your course.
All right,
30
so
seconds
here,
remaining.
can you throw crates? I love the physics on these, like they just get flung like they're beach balls.
An excellent job. You have completed all course objectives.
The voice actors put their hearts into those grunts, I gotta say. Okay, now this is where we start earning experience, because for these we actually fight
Training
enemies,
course is active.
and when you hit them
Begin.
with the needed combination,
Generating
they get knocked out.
Excellent.
And 39 experience there is
Generating
way more than the enemies we were fighting earlier. I didn't even finish the sentence when we already got a level up. So, what can we, this needs level 5. Yeah, that's what I was trying to save up for. Is there anything I can, I guess I'll put one in lava tracks and then a point into body. Because I want to use the 2 points at level 5 to
Congratulations.
give her
You have
fiery
successfully
form,
completed the course.
as well as power up her melee attacks. We might make her a full time member of the team once she's actually available to use in the field, but we'll
The
see.
training course is activated. Begin.
Knockback attack, so
Generating opponent.
do that.
Done.
But you can see already, like, our punches were doing a max of like 10 or 11 with Cyclops and Wolverine because they didn't have any power-ups attached.
Congratulations.
But you can see with the Fiery Rage on Allison here that she's doing her. Okay, so we're probably going to level up on the next one.
Generating
Took a bit of time loading that one.
An excellent job. You have completed all course objectives.
Okay, going. I mean, these are literally tutorial missions, but it is nice that you get something for doing them.
The course is now active. Good luck. Generating opponent.
All right, there we go. There's our next level up, which allows us to do 2 key things: activate Fiery Form and add some more Burning Rage. Let's go ahead and do this. That laugh
Generating
is
opponent.
evil sounding, but I love it.
Generating
But yeah, there's Fiery Form.
Excellent job. You have
Right now,
completed all course objectives.
the way it works is that you might have read in the description, it says -5 damage, so it just subtracts 5 points of damage from any attack that lands on Allison while she's in that form. And early on, that's a surprisingly good amount to work
You
with.
may now begin your course. Generating.
Okay, Stunning Blow.
Superb. Generating opponent.
This one's useful to use in the field sometimes
Generating
because
opponent.
it literally dizzies enemies. Oh, I messed it up.
Ow! That had
Generating.
Which leaves them open to attack.
All objectives have been successfully
Dizzying them, that is.
Course is now complete.
All right, good stuff. We're constantly getting the full credit haul of finishing quickly. Oh, we did take a hit here on pop-up, but it's all good. If we're stuck on credits, we might come back to it, but I don't want to, like... I'm trying not to spend too much time on all the prep, but, you know, we kind of got to go through your rituals when you're
Course is now active.
going back to playing some of these older
Generating
games.
opponent. Excellent. Nicely done. Congratulations.
I counted
You have
those
successfully completed
3
the course.
grunts as throw attempts. Okay, now when these being tutorial missions are where you only play Allison, but when we go to one of these, now we start to see our full suite of characters. So now we have Cyclops over here, and go ahead and just distribute these points. We'll get our first point of leadership and our first point into point blank shot. Wait, did I accidentally redistribute these? Okay, good. Because triangle is the back button here, but in newer games nowadays it's circle, so I'm kind of confusing those. So now that we have Storm, Jean, and the rest, that's a lot of new characters. I'll discuss them when it's when we're getting into the first mission. We've been kind of on a bit of idle time here, so I'll just kind of distribute the points real quick. Actually, what did I do here? Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe put this early point into flight. Wolverine, brutal slash. Sharpness, no sharpness. Expertise. Expertise is bad. Yeah, we'll hold off on that point to give him his buff. There's Jean. I wonder what to do with Jean for this run I'm doing of the game. Yeah, we'll do it like this. We'll run. I'm kind of trying to show off the game's mechanics as much as I can, so doing the broken build for Jean is probably the best way to do that. And I'll explain what that is just once we actually get to where we're playing the first mission.
The training course has loaded. You may commence.
Okay, yeah, we just have to spam
Nicely
this.
done.
Close ranks.
Generating opponent.
Just have to spam the L2 button, literally.
Generating opponent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Attack my target!
Generating opponent.
As we just beat up on more of these same enemies that we saw during the first mission.
Okay.
An excellent job. You have completed all course objectives.
So yeah, you can call for help from your allies by pressing L2. If you're just walking around, it makes them kind of close in around you and stay close. If you're fighting an enemy and you have them targeted, they're going to unleash their mutant power on that enemy, which is one of the ways that you can guarantee trying to go for a combo. And you heard the announcer there say it, and you will be hearing that sound bite a lot. Alright, so that finishes up what I wanted to do in the X-Mansion. It's pretty much going to be a lot of this, like we check danger room missions, talk to new characters, Some of the talking to new characters will allow us to do some cool stuff. But for now, the next thing we're going to do is go to our next stage.
Attention, X-Men. Meet me in the war room immediately.
Yes, sir.
With the aid of Cerebro, I've learned the Brotherhood is en route to Alaska. It appears their destination is the facility for the high-frequency active auroral research program.
What was that
also
cut?
known simply
Why
as
did it cut there?
HARP.
What would the Brotherhood want at HARP? All that facility does is study the ionosphere.
That, Cyclops, is what you must discover. The Brotherhood has become extremely active since their attack on Allison, which can
Why did it
only
cut again
mean
there?
something sinister is in the offing. And whatever their plan, we must thwart it before they can set back the cause of human-mutant relations.
The HARP facility, eh? This will be an excellent opportunity to test the new cloaking device I've installed on the X-Jet. It should render us completely undetectable to radar.
Excellent, Beast. You have your mission, X-Men. Godspeed.
So we'll be having these mission briefings before every time we deploy out somewhere. And, you know, as you can see from the graphics, like the character models from behind and when we're fighting look fine. Generally speaking, the whole cel-shaded style is pretty cool. But when you close in on them, you start noticing more about like the little webbed hands and all of that. So, you know, it isn't perfect, but it's all good. So the game defaults us to a specific lineup before each mission, and we're free to take it or leave it. So, as I said before, this is going to be our time to start going over the characters that we have. So here's Iceman. You know, in case you couldn't tell by how it looks. He's, again, like Allison. He looks like he's supposed to be a ranged fighter with his focus-based stats and, you know, having this freeze blast and other abilities that are ranged. But he's at his best when he armors up and just goes in and throws ice-covered fists at faces. This is his best way to do things, and it makes him able to do his best damage, because this doesn't do great damage even when you augment it with point-blank shot. It's just not as damaging as some of the other ranged abilities in the game. And this does 0 damage. Its only point is to slow enemies down and later on, but again, it's not where Iceman gets his damage from. He's pretty good, one of the better characters in the game. Really, any character that can do non-physical based melee combat, for him it's with Cold Smash and Cold Crush. Any character that can do that is usually really, really good. The other character we're going to talk about, one of the best characters in the game, is Storm. Storm is essentially kind of an altered version of Cyclops. She also relies on long-range energy-based attack, which is her lightning strike. But rather than being a long-range beam, it drops on enemies from above, which can help when you're fighting enemies that are like behind obstacles. But what Storm gets that Cyclops doesn't have is elemental combat with her lightning fury, so she's able to do energy damage with her attacks. And this stacks up so well later on, making her a big threat both from afar and up close. She can also use this. It's a very good protective buff. Whirlwind is kind of a nice little meme move and throws enemies around, but you know, not nearly as good. And she also gets leadership. Now, obviously the big question, do they stack? Yes. Yes, Cyclops and Storm's leadership passives do stack, and that means that the damage you get from combos when both of them are on the team is absurd. Enemies absolutely melt once Storm and Cyclops have like maybe 2 points each in leadership and you land a combo. Very little can survive that level of damage, or at least you'll notice your damage, instead of taking off like little chunks of a health bar, you'll suddenly see like over half of one gone immediately. We've already talked about Wolverine, so we'll go ahead and discuss the characters we have over here in the back. So here's Beast. Beast, like Wolverine, is a physically focused character, ostensibly. The thing with Beast compared to Wolverine is his power set. Brutal Slash is just a really good, quick attack with a nice hitbox that's very easy to use. Pinball is not that. You notice already that, because it's in a lower damage bracket than Brutal Slash, so even as it goes up, it won't do as much damage. Same thing for Propeller Kick. The thing with both of these powers is that they're hard to aim, typically, and or Beast spends a lot of time recovering from them. So when you're trying to just throw your powers at enemies as quickly as possible, Beast struggles to keep his damage going because of how long it takes him to keep that going. His buff is kind of nice for some reduced physical damage, but it only reduces physical damage, not all types of damage like Allison or Storm do, or Iceman. He has acrobatics, adds agility, useless. Gives him a double jump, cool, but you know, it's useful for traversal, I guess, here and there, but we have other options with Storm. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Storm can fly. Grappling increases strike and reflects punching and kicking damage. Man, a bit of a hot day today. But, you know, it's a lot of enemies don't attack you with punches and kicks, so this isn't the best thing, but it's there when you have spare points. This is probably his most useful passive because it buffs his overall damage, and it also has the funny effect of letting him throw around things like cars or forklifts. But really, honestly speaking, Beast is probably one of the worst characters in the game, which is kind of a shame because he's one of the coolest characters on the X-Men. But yeah, he's not having a great time. Another character who's not having a great time is Rogue. See, it's again the thing where, I forgot to mention also that Beast doesn't have a passive that boosts his regular punch and kick damage in the way that is available to the elemental characters or even Wolverine with his physical buff. Rogue is built very similarly to Beast. She has one big punch move that is again in a lower damage bracket than Brutal Slash, so she's already behind Wolverine in that respect. Ability Drain is one of the worst realized abilities in the whole game. Its concept is exceedingly cool, but in practice, it's just not good. The powers you can steal are generally very lackluster. If you end up stealing one, it doesn't always work. Its damage as an attack is very low. There is just so little to do with this. Like, I was hoping that if this was good, that I'd be able to show it off, but it's not good, so unfortunately, you know, we won't get to see this because, well, actually, even if I did try it, there's not much to see. She mostly relies on this, Southern Strike. She can fly, which is fine. She also has might like Beast does. But yeah, the heavy characters just did not get a lot of love in this game, the heavy melee characters. So that's Beast and Rogue. And then the last character, and the one we're just going to throw straight into the mix here, is Jean. Jean is generally agreed among people who play this game to be the #1 character. From afar, she's a psychic. She should be able to throw people around with telekinesis, but she has Psionic Strike to add mental damage to her melee attacks. But the kicker is that she has this thing called Telekinetic Combat, which adds additional mental damage to any attack that uses mental damage. Psionic Strike makes Jean's regular punches and kicks do mental damage. Stack those together, Jean becomes by far, like by absolute acres of distance, the strongest close-range fighter in the entire game. And on top of that, since Telekinetic Combat also boosts her powers, she has this cute little thing called Psychic Shout. This radial ability attacks all around Jean. It does some solid knockback, and it debuffs enemies, which is fine. That's all well and good. But the big thing about it is that it's just a radial attack that stacks damage from her telekinetic combat. So you can just do brutal damage all around Jean using this move. She's nuts. We're going to have her on the team alongside these guys. We'll be seeing this team a fair amount as we go through the game, but we'll see. I might experiment with some other characters if I feel I've made the point clear enough. But the one staple I'm planning on keeping for throughout most of the playthrough is Cyclops. He's the guy, he gets favoritism. And other than that, I'll kind of see how it goes. So, first mission, let's go. Keep track of time, you know. Want to make sure I don't completely mess up my sleep schedule here. Okay, quick save here. So I guess the plan is I'll try to see if I'll finish as much of the first mission as I can. If I can finish the whole thing tonight, so be it. If not, then I'll probably just take a range check on that. Alright, time to fight these guys, the Harp security soldiers. But yeah, as you saw, that's over half my health in 2 hits. So I gotta be careful. Though Cyclops is one of the frailer characters that we have on the team. When I mentioned Might earlier, Beast and Rogue would have both been able to pick up this little snowmobile there. Snow ski? I forgot what these are called. Alright, got him. You might have noticed the tiny bit of extra damage that Optic Blast did because I was standing closer. So that's the point blank shot going to work.
Okay.
Alright, let's play with Storm for a bit. Yeah, she has these cute little agile kicks that she does. Time to show off one of the cooler mechanics in the game. You'll see little things like this that characters can interact with. This is a bridge building point, and both Iceman and Jean can build bridges. So if we use Iceman's freeze beam here, voila, we now have a bridge. Now let's just hope none of my characters fall off the bridge as we cross. Oh my god, Storm, get away. Okay. That was close. It's happened. It has happened. Yeah, there's a combo. So you might have seen the little damage boost that happened there. So yeah, our task right now is to destroy these things. And they're marked on the map with the yellow X marks. Oh, there's a soldier here. Whoa, almost blindsided me. Alright, keep mash and punch on him. Oh, there was another one there. I didn't see him. They had him surrounded. Okay, that's all of these destroyed. They're not all in this area. And the game doesn't allow you to go to the next area until you've destroyed all the objectives that are in the current one. So now that that's done, we move on. Now, a weakness with this game, I'll admit, is that it kind of pads out certain areas by kind of making you repeat the same task in a slightly altered version of the same area you just played, which is what we're doing right now. All right, we'll take it here since this is a flat path. All right, let's play Iceman a bit. So you see how the slowdown beam happens? And the punches, they're all landing because of that extra elemental damage that we have attached. Oh wow, the guy just did not move from trying to use telekinesis. Alright, yeah, we want Psychic Shout. Like I said, we're going for the broken build with Jean. But how long I keep her on the team is gonna be up in the air. But as long as we're using her, that's going to be the build.
Yes.
Alright, drop some lightning on him, Storm. The nice thing about Storm's lightning, yeah, see that? It puts enemies into a little shock animation. Alright, level up for Storm. So now that we've cleared that enemy wave, let's go ahead and take care of that. Leveling up on multiples of 5, so 5, 10, 15, and so on, gives you 2 stat points and 2 points to add to your powers. So, I wonder what to do here. Yeah, we'll take 1 point in Lightning Strike and 1 point into Lightning Fury. Yeah. So you see like her punch damage just doubled, just off of putting that 1 point into Energy Fury. So you can only imagine once that gets into higher levels how that's going to work. Cyclops has a punch dimension. He should have elemental punches. Just grab beams from the punch dimension, wrap his fists with them. Who needs to fly? I can just jump, like punch my way over trees. There we go. Yeah, having a close save point is very important, because as I mentioned, in the blink of an eye, you might just die. Okay, this is the finishing area here on that bridge. Okay, I kind of hopped in and wasn't really paying attention to where I was going. Alright, Jean, show what you can do. She's taking a fair bit of damage. Let's heal her up.
I'm on it.
Oh, wait, I didn't notice Iceman was ready for his level up too. He's level 5. His slow beam is doing exactly what it should, so let's actually put points on ice armor to get that rolling. Pardon me. Alright, see how I didn't even need to lock on there? That's a benefit to Cyclops' optic beam. And it's really important for, hopefully I'll get to show it off at some point with the traps that appear later on. Combo! Alright, more and more level ups. We're starting off pretty well. But those extra level ups we got in the mansion are definitely doing what I wanted them to do. Okay, so it looks like we can only really consider accuracy, which is fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the percentage boost on combos won't feel too big early on because we're still doing smaller damage numbers. But once we start getting into 100 plus damage on our powers and whatnot, the difference will really show. Alright. Might have to fly up here.
Let's see what you got.
That's a nice thing about flight, is that it just shortcuts some traversal. Oh, I think their own grenade blew that up? Alright. Oh, no, this is the entrance area, so I actually want to go... There's an enemy somewhere. Got him. That's a nice thing. If the enemy is on the screen, and you press R2 to start aiming your powers, the aiming reticle will pick them up even if you don't necessarily see them, and Storm's Lightning, since it drops right on them, will just track where they are. It's really cool. Alright, heal up. We can only carry 10 of these potions, so anytime we get an extra, I might as well just burn it. Whoa. Okay. Okay, I thought I might have been screwed there. I thought I was stuck. Okay, yeah, let's stop risking that. Just use flight. You know, it's what I put it on these characters for. Because I've had it happen with this game where I just clip through the floor and fall into a bottomless pit. Oh, no, don't do that. Okay, there we go. Eventually your characters will warp to your location if you get too far from them, so little helpful things to help you not get too frustrated with your AI teammates. Yeah, gotta be careful with this tank. It can hit you for a lot of damage.
Let's see what you got. Combo!
But I think if I stay back here and kind of take care of these soldiers first, I'll be able to approach the tank safely. Let's go ahead and armor up as Iceman and start punching this thing. Nice. I like the little touch there with the so much power line from Jean. And I don't like that one as much from Storm. Doesn't sound as good. But I like with Jean that when she says so much power, kind of the implication that she's feeling, you know, a bit of Phoenix-ish pressure when she levels up. It never ends up really panning out into anything concrete, but yeah. All right, let's go ahead and increase the energy damage. More focus. Yeah, more focus. Jean gets body points because she wants to fight up close. Okay, Psychic Shock can get an extra points. Psionic Strike it is. And looks like everybody else is set.
I'm on it. Right.
Anybody need
Yes.
healing? All right,
Yes.
take that. And that finishes out this area. Although it's still going to be a little while before we can actually enter the facility. I think we need to go through one more of these snowy fields. Okay, I was right.
Let's see what you got.
More harp security. Yeah, I guess since I've, you know, explained most of what's going on here, I can go back to a bit to talking about what was going on before I started the stream. World Cup, Egypt versus Argentina. Epic match, not the result we wanted. If you haven't heard me mention it, I'm half Egyptian, so obviously that tells you who I was rooting for. Egypt proceed to take the lead. They lead by 2 goals with less than 20 minutes left of normal time. Argentina start flooding the attack and giving Messi all the space he needs to start playing,
Yes.
and it just ends up not working out. And they make the comeback before the game is finished. Okay, 1 skill point. Got to be careful not to miss this jump. But yeah, real heartbreaker, and Argentina could feel how close they were to getting eliminated there. Messi was completely in tears when the game was over because he understands, even though he just, you know, did his thing and rescued his team and, you know, put in another legendary performance, that they were also pretty fortunate. There were some potentially questionable calls. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories too much here, but suffice it to say, a lot of people aren't happy with how they felt the game was refereed. And it hurts. It hurts, really. Like, every time I think about it, it hurts because I wanted it so bad for these guys. They fought so hard against the world champions and all of that, but it just was not to be, not this time around. But, you know, they have a good young generation. I know Mohamed Salah is basically on the way out, but there is a good young generation coming up with the opportunity to do things well in future tournaments. So, okay, I gotta make sure not to hit these because that'll blow up the bridge. I might show that off. The problem is if your teammates are standing there, they could just die. I'll see if I can safely show off the bridge explosion. Yeah, Cyclops' blast isn't quite lining up right, so I don't want to risk that with this. I'll give it a shot with this. I'll see if that works. Whoa.
Better luck next time.
Okay, are they done now? Let's see if I can nail this. Oh, doesn't blow it up. Okay. Was there another enemy? Let's go still going. Let's punch out this transformer, which means we're done with this area. Okay, I'll try one more time to see if I can make the bridge explode. Storm, move out the way, please. Yeah, see? So it's a little trap right there that if you just carelessly attack while on that bridge and those barrels explode, you just die instantly. I got caught by that not too long ago, so yeah, it's stuck in my memory. I forgot where the exit is. Slip slides across the snow.
Combo! Sweet dreams.
Alright, gotta be... Was this our exit? Yeah, Inner Grounds, that was our next area. I think it's the last snowy field, hopefully. Yeah, I think this is the last one. Oh, Switzerland versus Colombia started. I wonder if I should watch that. Let's take a look at what the score is there. Not much going yet. I might check it out later. Just keep doing this for now.
Sorry about that.
Alright, nice and easy. Just gotta find more of those generators, transformers, objective markers. Just take care of them. Keep blasting these guys. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chill, chill, chill.
Let's see what you got.
Alright, start using this. Yeah, the damage is not great yet. But yeah, telekinesis is a good way for Jean to just establish some space control. But yeah, you see those melee attacks and how much damage they're doing. Agility enhancer, agility enhancer. I'll just sell these later.
Will do.
They're not even worth equipping. Dodging melee attacks, which is never going to actually work when you need it to. Okay, where is him? If I can aim my optic blast correctly, there we go. I've actually gone back to the save point, so I might as well try to continue here. Alright.
Time you freaks learned a lesson.
Picking Wolverine would probably make things easier since he's probably the best early game character. And he's pretty strong in the late game too. But I don't know, it's not just what I'm feeling right now. Just not what I'm feeling. Anyway. And there's a new Danger Room disc, which is Challenge Beasts. That's one of the individual character challenges. Beasts is the first one we get, typically.
Think you're bad, Beauty? Combo!
It's okay to let them get a bit close as long as I can zap them to get that point blank bonus. Alright. I think that allows us to level up Optic Beam now. Yeah, there we go. More Optic Beam, more focus. Cyclops is as one track of a character as it gets, but WoW is the one thing he does really good. Oh, okay, yeah, that's an alternative way of dealing with this guy causing a fire here. We just jump over it. I guess it's because they give you solutions in case you haven't picked Iceman. Because Iceman can obviously just poof.
Yes.
Alright. I can see it on the map, so we'll just follow the way over there. Mosey over with extreme speed. I would fly since that's faster, but that costs so much energy in the early game, like unbelievable amounts. Ooh, really good critical hit there.
Thanks for playing.
Alright, yeah, and you'll notice when we finish objectives, you might have seen some experience pop up at the bottom. So when you finish an objective, you keep getting sizable chunks of experience points,
All right.
which can help you like keep up your progress as you go through. Let's try walking on the train. Oh, this doesn't go anywhere. Thought it was going to be like the other area. Should have just looked at the map. Not entirely sure what I'm looking for. Maybe I just like hearing that as all those things just crunch under our fists. Oh, yeah, I'll just walk up the tree. Why not? Okay, yeah, time to fight another one of these. But this time with some help from flamethrower troops, which makes this fight definitely harder. Really, this one's a big part of why I picked Iceman, since he can put out these fires and he can also armor up.
Right.
Yeah, you can see his melee damage and how solid it is. Alright, so we can do this. Try to do some more damage here to this tank. I want it out of commission. There we go.
Yes.
Alright, now let Iceman go back to work. Armor up again. That takes him down. Put out the fire. This guy's still standing. And now we can actually enter the facility. New surroundings! We're not on a snowfield anymore. But yeah, I think that's a decent enough start for first session. We've got our game saved right here, so when I continue next time, we'll continue and get through the rest of this mission, and then maybe go through part of another one. Kind of keep it going that way, like introduce a new mission, get partway through it, and then finish it in the next session. That might be the flow I go with. If I feel like I've got more energy to do more than that, I might end up doing exactly that. I'll kind of just play it by ear as I go. But yeah, this was the first session of X-Men Legends. If anybody's out there checking this out and enjoying it, let me know. Really just more about me, again, as I always mention in the beginning, just playing the games I like, and if somebody out there shares an interest and wants to talk about these games we all enjoy, then by all means. And also just really as a way for me to archive some of my own gaming experiences out there. So yeah, till next time, take care.